Are we ready?
Good, I think.
Good afternoon, women's hockey fans. I am Sean Mullen along with Jared Down. We're live at the Innovation Credit Union iPlex for Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats hockey on Amateur Sports TV as the Wildcats take on the Notre Dame Hounds. Now, the Hounds, if you look in the standings, are feeling pretty good at 2-0, while the Wildcats come in with one win, a regulation loss, and an overtime loss on their record. However, important to note that the two losses the Wildcats have suffered this season are against Regina, last season's top team, and expected to be right there at the top of the standings again this season. And both those games decided by a single goal. The Wildcats neck and neck with the elite team in this league. And that's not surprising. You look at the Wildcats' record last season, they were 21-7-1-1 before the COVID-19 enforced end of the season. Regina just ahead of them. Swift Current split with Regina last year. They showed they're just as good as that team. Now there's chemistry to figure out. A lot of changes for the Wildcats this year. Some big-name veterans being brought in, some rookies being worked into the lineup. It's not all going to come together right away. And the one area, I think, for the Wildcats where they're still trying to figure things out is from a scoring standpoint. I want to say thank you very much to a new sponsor we brought on board for our pregame and postgame shows for these broadcasts, SWT. And SWT certainly has some connections to the Wildcats and to this organization. But we appreciate SWT coming on board, and we look forward to working with them throughout this process. We're going to take a look at the starting lineups now. Jared, first, your thoughts as we head into this contest. Wildcats and the Hounds. The Hounds with 2 wins over Weyburn, who have been at the bottom of the standings in recent years in this league, but decisive wins, and they got scoring throughout their lineup, so it should be a good contest here between these two groups.
Yeah, I think a big thing for the Wildcats today is they got to slow down that Notre Dame offense. 9 goals in the last game, 6 goals the night before. It's going to be challenging. And one of the ways I feel like they're going to be doing a good job of doing that is staying out of the box. So Wildcats, they got 46 penalty minutes in their last 3 games. Though Notre Dame hasn't capitalized on a lot of their power play chances so far this season, this is something you do not want to do with a high-rolling offense like the Hounds.
There's no doubt about that. And we saw that in particular the last time Weyburn was in this building, our first broadcast of the year. The Wildcats kind of let that game stay close as a result, I think, of the amount of time they spent in the penalty box. So that's something they're going to want to avoid as they go into a contest against Notre Dame. I don't think they were as bad at taking penalties against Regina, but one thing I can say for them, their penalty kill is outstanding, led by the veteran Kerwin, who I think out of all the players I've seen play in this league, not just this year, but in other years I've covered it, I've never seen a more effective penalty killer. Her speed and the pressure she puts on the puck is just exceptional. By the way, again, our sponsor for the pregame show, SWT, the most trusted, innovative, and customer-centric grain and crop inputs company by providing profit-making solutions. Visit SWT.ca, SWT.ca for more information. Now, SWT's home base is in Gull Lake, Saskatchewan, and or just outside of it. And there's a couple of Gull Lake products on this Wildcats club. And I know, Jared, you're from that area. And when you look at Bailey Kerwin, who's going to be a leader for the Wildcats all season, but also the rookie Sadie Keller, who's got a lot of speed and offensive pop to her game, those are two players coming from that area that are going to have a big impact on this season.
Agreed. Kerwin, like you said earlier, excellent penalty killer. She had a good year last year points-wise. I know she was held off the score sheet in the last two games. So they're going to need her tonight, maybe to step up with a goal or two here to compete with this Notre Dame offense. Keller having no issues transitioning in to her first year at the Wildcats.
Well, I would say if you look back at the last two games for the Wildcats, still without a goal is Bailey Kerwin, who had 29 last season. She's a committed prospect for Robert Morris University, an outstanding talent. And to only have one assist in the first three games, you think of those two losses, a one-goal regulation loss in Regina and a double overtime loss here against Regina. You get a little offensive production from Kerwin. Those are different games, and they're going to need that. Now, no player is going to score all the time, but that's the difference your stars can make. She produced wonderfully on the penalty kill. She's a spark plug to the game, but hasn't found the back of the net yet, and they need their stars to do that. You know, the top two lines for the Wildcats are absolute key. And let's get into our starting lineups. Starting for the Wildcats up front, first of all, on the left wing, number 23, Callie Arnold. And Arnold's a fascinating player for the Wildcats, having added her from the Pursuit of Excellence, a pay-to-play sort of academy, after spending 2 seasons before that with Saskatoon. So you get an exceptional talent like her in here in her 17-year-old season with that level of experience. She was a point-a-game player at 15. So now she's here at 17 to make a big difference on this Wildcats roster. At center, it's a rookie from La Flèche, Saskatchewan, Jersey Watain. And this is the kind of responsibility they're giving to Jersey. To be a rookie on this roster and play between Callie Arnold and Bailey Kerwin, that's a major assignment, Jared. I would say it says a lot about how they view her. And then, of course, at the right wing is Bailey Kerwin. We talked about her. She's the captain of the roster. Only one assist in 3 games so far, but certainly you can tell the leader of this team and a 29-goal scorer last season, committed to Robert Morris University. She's an exceptional player, and they will rely on her in a big, big way in this game and every night. On the back end for the Wildcats, number 17, Jessica Bouffard from Kincaid, Saskatchewan. Bouffard played with the Wildcats last year, had 4 points on the season, has 1 so far this season, got a power play assist in the game against Regina last week here in this building on Sunday. And player that moves the puck pretty well. The Wildcats are down 2 defensemen today due to undisclosed reasons. So they have 3 scratches, 1 forward and 2 defensemen. And that means all 4 D are going to have to play very, very big minutes for the Wildcats. The other D, Cameron Johnson, an alternate captain for this Wildcats club, number 10. Johnson scored her first goal in 2 seasons in regulation when they took on Weyburn here a couple weeks ago. She's been getting first power play minutes, but the offense is not the primary contribution for Johnson. She's an absolute stabilizer on the blue line, plays big minutes, is used to doing that. Again, with 2 scratches on the blue line today, she absolutely is going to have to do that. As for the goaltender, it's been the same starter all season long so far, and will be again this afternoon. The veteran Amaya Giraudier, who was one of the top netminders in all of Western Canada last season, with a 1.2 goals against average and .949 save percentage. This season, Giraudier is 1 and 2 with a 2.28 goals against average and .916 save percentage. Now remember, of course, 2 of the 3 games are against the best team probably in the league in Regina. So those numbers are going to go up as time goes along. By the way, talk to Terry Pavley. It's likely we'll see Aurora Van Wormer, the rookie, play tomorrow in Notre Dame, get her first action in the regular season. When you have a rookie backing up one of the most established goaltenders in the entire province, in the entire, I guess, region, Western Canada, she's probably going to play limited duty, but certainly a capable goaltender. Van Wormer last season had a 2.08 goals against average and 4 shutouts playing AA hockey. So the Swift Current native, no doubt, will be able to get the job done. But Giroje in net, Jared, I mean, you have a player of that caliber, you're going to ride her as much as you can. And she moves great at the bottom of the net, but a very athletic goaltender, and she gives them a chance to win every game, doesn't she?
That she does, and she's going to be a key performer tonight for the Wildcats. I think it's going to come down to how much she can keep the puck out of the net. That solid play should give the Wildcats some confidence to stay in it when the game's tight, and she gives them a fighting chance every game, so it'll be good to see how she does it tonight.
The scratches I mentioned, Caitlin Perlinger on D, Kylie Hansen on D, and Gracie Georgette up front for the Wildcats are all out of the lineup. So at this level, if you're unfamiliar, I imagine most people watching are familiar. They don't typically have 4 lines and 3 D pairs of players. The Wildcats typically have 6 D and 10 forwards playing on any particular night. So if you're down 3 players, that's a very significant reduction to their roster. They're now down to 3 lines of forwards and 2 pairs on D. I think for the forwards, it's not as big of an adjustment, Jared, but if all of a sudden you're going from every 3rd shift to every 2nd shift on the blue line, that's going to be a massive challenge for the 4D playing for the Wildcats today.
That's where you got to see players like Bailey Kerwin, who's strong defensively, step up for the Wildcats. You're going to need a couple of the other guys, your veterans like Callie Arnold, who they brought in with lots of experience. I think going forward, those forwards are going to have to step up here tonight.
And I think one of the things that you mentioned specifically, staying out of the penalty box, becomes an even bigger key, doesn't it? Because the D work extra hard when they're killing penalties. That's just the reality. The puck's in their zone for more time. They cannot afford to be in the box as much as they have been already this season with only 4 D out there.
Those are hard minutes for the D when you're constantly killing penalties, so they can stay out of the box and forecheck hard and keep the puck in the other end. It'll make it easier on the 4D men tonight.
Absolutely. And want to mention Amateur Sports TV, always free. If you're interested in having your team broadcasted on ASTV, you can contact Glenn through the website and he'll let you know the details of how to get it done. But it's always free for the parents and the fans, and in particular, especially because the games are stored, the scouts. And I always think that's such a key point for these young players that want the opportunity to continue their career at another level, especially during the time of COVID-19 when scouts can't travel as freely. There's only 150 people allowed in the arena at any given time. This is a great opportunity for scouts to watch these young players. And we're glad to provide it when the games are here in Swift Current for the Wildcats. But for the other teams in this league, for other teams in other leagues, if you want scouts to get a chance to watch your players, if you want grandma and grandpa to get a chance to watch your players, Amateur Sports TV is a great way to do it, both live during the game and stored afterwards. ASTV has that for you, and Glenn's your contact if you want to learn more about that. Again, our pregame show brought to you by SWT. We appreciate them coming on board and supporting this Wildcats broadcast and certainly supporting the Wildcats. The teams are getting set to come out onto the ice in a moment, so we only have a little bit to go in our pregame show, Jared. And I want to say again, the coaches for these two teams, Terry Pavley is the head coach for the Wildcats, Jill Steenkamp, Blake Voth, Chris Kerwin, the assistants, Nola Smith is the manager, Craig Parrott is the head coach for Notre Dame, and it's Ryan Parrott that's a player to watch for Notre Dame in particular. Last season, 31 points, including 17 goals. This season, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points already in only 2 games. She, as Bailey Curran is, a commitment to Robert Morris University. Jared, That's going to be the key shutdown piece for Notre Dame. If the Wildcats are going to win this game, they got to contain the coach's daughter. She's going to be the one to watch. All right, our broadcast will be coming live with the first period in just a few moments. The pregame show for SWT is done. The first period's next. This is Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV. Good afternoon. We are live at the Innovation Credit Union High-Plex in Swift Current. I'm Sean Mullen along with Jared Down. It is time for Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV. Again, as we mentioned during our SWT pregame show, Caitlin Perlinger, Gracie Georgette, Kylie Hansen, all out of the lineup for the Wildcats today. That means they're short 3 players, 2 defensemen in particular, and are going to have to play this game with only 4D. That's going to be a major, major burden on those 4D. We'll see how they handle it from a coaching perspective. It is Johnson and Bouffard starting on the blue line. Watain, Kerwin, and Arnold up front. And we're off. The first period of Wildcats hockey on ASTV underway as they take on the Notre Dame Hounds. Puck dumped into Notre Dame territory. And now cleared right back out. Bouffard to get it. Her pass into the skates of Johnson. Notre Dame pounces. Passed out to the slot and shot high by McLean. McLean chasing it down. Knocked away from her, but the puck's still on the wall. Arnold trying to battle for it. Hounds come out. Turning and shooting there was Phoebe Roberts. That's blocked and cleared the length of the ice. And back for it, Notre Dame. Puck in the corner. Lots of room to skate with it. And Govan will take it out to the neutral zone, but forced back. Grab there for Swift. Trying to take it into the zone was Metzger, and she got forced off the puck. Ahead for Notre Dame. Dumped in by Lear. Battle for the puck in the corner. Nice little toe drag. Cutting out front with the puck was Herman. Can't get a shot. She made a nice play there from the side of the goal, though. Wildcats finally do clear the zone. And that's fired out to center. Dumped right back in quickly. Chasing it down for Swift was Rubley. She can't get to it. Good forecheck here by Notre Dame. It's Gilroy. Kearns with it, right half wall. Couple nice little moves by Gilroy. Passed it out, top of the slot, shot. Easy save made there by Giroux on the shot by Rasmussen. And it's forced out by Swift. Good start for Notre Dame, though. The Hounds 2-0 on the season, looking to continue that. It's dumped into the corner by Notre Dame's McDonald as they make changes. Sent out front, good chance. Not much of an angle, and Giroux is going to make the save. That was Gilroy at the end of her shift. Made a nice play off the wall, then headed towards the net. Got the puck back and didn't have much of an angle on Giroux, but still, he's going to make every effort to get that puck to the net. They've got the first 2 shots of the game and most of the early puck possession due to the Notre Dame Hounds. And the Wildcats have not been fast starters in the games we've seen here. Their first few minutes have not been their strongest. Puck in the corner of the Notre Dame zone. Forced up to center and away with it, Parrott. She's the player to watch. Their leading scorer last year and this year so far, and a good poke check on her by Bouffard. Here's Arnold. Up the middle, Watane. The rookie tried to feed that to Kerwin. That'll bounce to her off the boards, and she's forced off the puck. Comes up with it behind the net. Kerwin still looking for her first goal of the season. Centered that one, and that'll be steered to the corner by the netminder for the Hounds. Getting the start today, Kayla Bailey. Hounds have 2 rookie goaltenders as that puck is iced. Kayla Bailey for Notre Dame won her only game so far this season. 3 goals against average, .824 save percentage. Bailey Lindsay is the other goaltender. She had a shutout in her only appearance. But 2 rookie goaltenders for Notre Dame. They lost their starter to injury this year. That's a big thing to overcome for Notre Dame. But 2 rookies get the opportunity, and we'll see if either of them emerges as a starter. Chance to clear for the Wildcats. They do not. Second effort, though, will be forced out by Swan. Swan forced to center duty on the third line for the Wildcats, as Georgette normally plays that spot. She's out of the lineup today as the puck's deflected into Wildcat territory from behind center, but not enough for icing. Rubley back for it, plays it up the wall. Cannot clear. Gilroy holds that in. Rubley again goes to the other side. Pass across the middle is behind Swift Current's Wingert, and she'll dump it in and head off for a change. Battle in the corner. Gilroy's got it for Notre Dame. Sends it up the wall. Lots of space, and Lear is able to clear it up. Close call there for a too many men as the Wildcats come back, but not much offensive zone time for Swift Current in the first 4 minutes of this contest. No score yet. Metzger, 3 points on the season, dumps it behind the goal, but that'll be moved back up the wall and cleared. Up to center ice for Notre Dame, Anderson. They don't have a lot of 15-year-olds on that team typically. Anderson's one of them. Johnson will move it. Bouffard played it to the wall to Metzger. She had 2 Hounds on her. The Hounds have been Hounds on the puck early. Coming up with it now. Bouffard feeds it ahead. Now here's Keller. She dumps it in, steered aside by Bailey. Arnold will follow up. Arnold with 3 points on the season so far, but was held away from the score sheet by Regina. And all 3 of those points against Weyburn. That's dumped into Kerwin. Tries to ring around behind the net, got forced off the puck. Good D in the early going by the Hounds, not allowing any action towards the front of their net. Back in for Notre Dame is Thomas. Thomas has 4 goals already this season in the 2 games against Weyburn. Puck played to the wall. Gobbled up there by Rubley. Has some time, plays to Arnold, little bank pass. Doesn't get out, but now deflects. Here's Watane, 2-on-1 with Kerwin. Kerwin can't handle the pass. It deflects away to the corner. That one in an awkward spot for her. They tried to make a 2-on-1 happen quick. You could see Watane almost immediately deferring to the veteran. Now Arnold throws a long shot on that. Easy save made by Kayla Bailey on that one. Ooh, a little stumble behind the net by Notre Dame's Govin. That allows some pressure from Swift. Third line out for the Wildcats as Notre Dame plays it out. Here's Thomas to center. Has some room, gains the Swift Current line. Long shot, low glove save made by Giraudier. And with 13:41 to go in the first period, there's no score in this one between the Wildcats and the Notre Dame Hounds. Face off deep inside Wildcats territory. Notre Dame trying to get it to the front of the net here. Played to the wall by Rubley. Ends up behind the net. Up the wall. Appel trying to clear it. Will send it across her zone. Now a penalty coming to the Hounds. That'll be the first penalty of this game as the Hounds touch the puck here at center ice. No score in this one. 13:14 to go in the opening frame. And the Wildcats will head to the power play. Still early in this season, the power play has not been particularly strong, but I don't think it has for really any team. Let's see if Swift is able to get a little bit of momentum out of this. Alexia Hill for body contact is the penalty. Wildcats around behind the net. Kerwin cuts out, backhand feed, scores! Callie Arnold! As the puck kind of deflected away from Kerwin for a moment, she got it back, cut out front, drew the attention of the Hounds to her, and it was a slide pass across the crease for a tap-in by Callie Arnold. Arnold didn't get all of it, but she managed to get enough for her third goal of the season. And that didn't take long. Wildcats power play goal. And it's 1-0 Swift Current. Here's Watain. Back to the line. Over to Watain. A shot redirected off the side of the goal. A wraparound try by Arnold. All of a sudden net hungry. And that just slides away. Official word on the goal. Number 23, Callie Arnold from number 16, Bailey Kerwin on the power play. As the puck is dumped in. Wildcats with the early lead. Gilroy away for Notre Dame. Long shot into the corner. That'll come to the wall. Deflected by Keller, gave it away. Thomas was on it, but forced off the puck immediately, and that's cleared. Good defensive play on that one by Bouffard, but an icing call against the Wildcats afterwards. Bouffard saw the turnover to Thomas, and Thomas, a player who's got 4 goals already, you don't want her to have it. They did what they could to keep that away. Face off deep in Wildcats territory. Notre Dame got the win on the draw. Sent down low for Gilroy. Gilroy getting away from pressure. Another turn move. Dropped it back to the line. A shot blocked. Bounced out front. And it was Anderson who had it, but had it knocked away. Keller trying to clear for Swift. And the Hounds converge on her. 2 players. Now Anderson made a move on Bouffard, but couldn't keep control of it. Headed to the net. She's upended in the corner by Johnson, but ruled inadvertent by the officials here. Now a trip, and the Wildcats, who avoided one penalty, are going to take another. And this is not ideal. It's a defender in Cameron Johnson headed to the box. Already only 4D for the Wildcats on their bench today. And it's Johnson, the defender on the in the box for the trip, which means for Swift Current, only 3D available for this penalty kill. Here's a chance from the point, ripped high and wide by Emma Thomas. That's why she's got 4 goals already this season. Now a point shot, looking 5-hole, and Giraudier gobbles that up. Brian Parrott, who has 3 goals on the season, sending that one to the net. Close call. There's 1:43 to go in this power play for Notre Dame. Down by a goal, trying to equalize the score here. Parrott, the Robert Morris University committed forward for Notre Dame, had her pass deflected. Now Bouffard's got it, and she'll fire at the length of the ice. Oh, what a stumble there. Allows Arnold to go after it, and that really forced Bailey to come out of the net and play it. She gave it away, and that'll be dumped right back behind the net by Samantha Thompson. Good pressure by Arnold and Thompson here. And Thompson steals it. She cuts towards the net. Too many white and red jerseys. That'll be cleared out to center. Knocked right back in by Thompson. Good pressure penalty killing here by the Wildcats, and Kerwin's going to continue it. 53 seconds to go in the penalty kill. 10-14 left in the first. 1-0 Wildcats lead it. Nice little move there for Notre Dame, trying to take it to the net. It was Herman, and that got forced away and out. 37 seconds to go in the power play. Kerwin pressures, but missed the puck. Notre Dame's long pass off the mark, and that'll give Swift Current's Bacchus a chance to clear at the length of the ice. Pressure here by Watane on the penalty kill. Only 20 seconds left for Notre Dame. Maybe one rush here. Banked ahead to center ice. They lost control. Cleared out by Bacchus again. Following up at center. Hounds will skate it back in. It's Rasmussen. Onto the wall. Played back to the line. And that's just held in at the right point by Forsyth. As Room shoots, that's blocked by Watane. Power play's over. Still a 1-0 Wildcat lead. Swan at center. Can't get it deep. Deflected puck. Now a chance here for Rasmussen. Gains the line. Long shot wide. That'll ricochet to the right corner. Steered across the front of the net by Notre Dame's Hill. She had the penalty earlier. Held in for the Hounds. That'll ring all the way around to the other far wall. Appel gets it out. Appel had a power play goal for Swift last week. Oh, and that's going to be an obvious one as Paris Appel lowers the boom on the wall, but you can't do that in women's hockey. And it's a body contact penalty to Swift. That was beautifully lined up check. You're just not allowed to do it. The Wildcats, only about 45 seconds removed from their last penalty kill, are back on another one. This is exactly what they have to avoid with only 4D. 1-0 Wildcats leading, 8:30 to go in the first. Hounds back on the power play. Low point shot hits a skate. Puck deflected in the corner. Worked back to the line, and a good stick for Swift Current by Thompson. And that puck will deflect all the way down the ice. Back for it for Notre Dame is Evans. Thompson pressures her. Puck squirts free. Here's a chance to the net. Short-handed by Kerwin, and she couldn't pull the trigger. Nice spin move by Kerwin. To the front of the net for Thompson. Pass it her skates. Kerwin follows up. Doesn't get much of a shot there, but what pressure by Kerwin and Thompson on the penalty kill. Two real good looks for short-handed chances. You have to be very careful as the team on the power play when you're taking on the Wildcats. Swift Current has a very aggressive penalty kill. And sometimes with forwards playing on the blue line, that opens the door to some real trouble in their own zone. Held in there nicely by Notre Dame. They've got 45 seconds left on this power play. Another nice hold at the line. Another one. Oh, this time it did get out. 3 times. Bouffard looking to the sky there. They had a chance to get it out, and Notre Dame really did a good job at the line, but that one, last one, did skip out. 39 seconds to go in this Notre Dame power play. Rubley fighting for it for Swift. Little play by Anderson in the corner. Rubley's on it there too. Anderson out of Regina. Now on the wall is Lear. Back to the line. Forsyth over to Lear. 12 seconds on the power play. Puck centered. Loose puck. Lear to the net. That one may have caught a piece of the shoulder of Giraudier. 3 seconds. Cut back out front. Good defensive play in front by Rubley, and Appel is out of the box. Held in at the left point for Notre Dame, but not put deep. Niedermeyer battling for that. Different spelling, so not related, by the way, to the other Niedermeyers. Here's Arnold. She's got the lone goal of this hockey game so far. Dumps it in for the Wildcats, and that'll be held by goaltender Kayla Bailey for Notre Dame. 6:17 to go in the opening frame. It is a 1-0 Innovation Credit Union Wildcats score. Third line out for Swift on the offensive zone draw. And Appel's going to take it. Swan's playing center today, but Appel, the left-handed shot, will take this draw. She's beaten in the face-off dot, though, by Notre Dame's Bryn McLean. And the Hounds, those famous red helmets, get the puck to center ice. Down the left wing, here's Thomas. And that puck got away, picked up by Bouffard, and now sent by Swift Current's winger into Notre Dame territory. Followed up by Winger again. She'll dump it in. A little bit of time for Evans. She skates with it. Oh, and she's upended. No call on that one as it comes to center and is fired in by Gilroy. Johnson for Swift. Over to Bouffard. Her pass intercepted by Anderson. She skates around behind the net. The youngster hooked up a little by Bouffard. Trying to get free. Gilroy's there. Now Gilroy wrapping around. Stick check by Metzger. Puck's in. Gilroy skates. 4 players in on the puck battle. Notre Dame wins it centered, but Anderson couldn't handle that pass. Kind of in an awkward spot. Fed out by Wingert to center, and that was behind Metzger. Back in come the Hounds again. Gilroy, long shift, but she'll cut in. Shoots it. Blocker save made by Giraudier, who stopped all 7 shots she's faced this period so far. In the corner now for Notre Dame. Lear takes it out front. Loose puck. Rebound try. 2 or 3 whacks at it as Niedermeyer cut into the front of the goal. And Giraudier is going to keep that out. Great move by Olivia Lear. Out of the corner, across the crease. Through Wildcats tour, still able to make some noise in front. And a little bit of a second opportunity there for Niedermeyer. Anna-Marie Niedermeyer has already got 3 points on the season. Following the puck up, and Giraudier keeps it out. 4:34 to go in the first. 1-0 Wildcats lead it. Most of their offensive pressure has come, though, on special teams. Either shorthanded or on the power play. Not much even strength for Swift so far. Arnold chasing after it behind the net. Inside Notre Dame territory. Comes out front, knocked away, and cleared. Rubley ships it back in. It'll bounce towards the Notre Dame goal. Sent up the wall. Deflected by Lear. And dumped not deep into Swift Current territory by Alexia Hill. Wildcats make a pass for Swan. That's out of her reach. Down the ice into Notre Dame territory again, and Pitter's got it. Played for Thomas. She'll deflect that to the Swift Current line. Back for it there is Bouffard, who's under some pressure. Parrott right on her. And Bouffard's not able to clear. Now almost centered to Thomas, who was going to be open. The Wildcats break that up. Parrott steals that away. Sends it behind the net. Johnson up the wall. And just out. I have to say, in this first period, Notre Dame has been the hungrier team for the puck. Certainly more forecheck pressure. Johnson has some trouble with it at her own blue line. Stolen away by Anderson. Her pass broken up. Good back check by Thompson. At the line, held in by Notre Dame, and a fan shot by Govan in a good position. Appel will dump it in. 2:54 to go in the first. 1-0 Wildcats lead on the power play goal by Callie Arnold. Puck inside Notre Dame territory. Rubley had it go through her feet and out to the neutral zone. Here's Bacchus. Over to Rubley. Rubley up the middle off some skates. Skated in by Metzger. She trips up. Sent by Govan around behind her net for Notre Dame. Wildcats trying to get some pressure on here. Good job. Steal that puck. Here's Keller. She'll get it to the net. That'll be stopped and gobbled up by Kayla Bailey. Why do you need to watch Sadie Keller? Well, in 3 games as a rookie, she's already got a goal and an assist. But just look, last year in 6 games in the midget AA ranks as an underage, she had 5 goals. And 2 years ago for Wood River in the under 15 league at 13 years of age, 2 years ago for Wood River, 38 goals. So Keller, an exceptional talent. We saw some evidence of that on her goal against Weyburn 2 weeks ago. But that pipeline from Gull Lake still paying off for Swift Current with, of course, Bailey Kerwin, their captain. Chris Kerwin, her father, is an assistant coach. And it is Keller on the draw inside Notre Dame territory. She won it, but the Hounds get the puck and clear. Not enough juice for an icing, so Bouffard will have to go back for it. 2 minutes to go, first period. Wildcats lead at 1-0. Power play goal by Arnold. Dumped by Thompson into Notre Dame territory. Metzger trying to get after it. Former Saskatoon star. Left them, joined the Wildcats this offseason. Puck's cleared again the length of the ice, but it will not be an icing call. Bouffard has to skate back forward again. 1:35 to go in the period. 1-0 Wildcats lead. Deflected to center. Thompson can't find it. Now Metzger dumps it in as the team changes, and Watain, the lone forechecker, waiting for her line mates to get out there. Puck played up for Thompson. She'll clear to center. Kerwin bumps into the Notre Dame player at center, Parrott, and Parrott took the worst of it. Parrott's bigger than Kerwin, but Kerwin had the leverage there as they came together. By the way, 2 future teammates. Parrott and Kerwin both committed to Robert Morris University. And both the players to watch here. And there's a couple of Robert Morris commits as well on the Regina team last week. So Robert Morris clearly sees a lot of value in the Saskatchewan under-18 AAA league here when building their women's program. Down the stretch we come in the first. 1-0 Wildcats lead it. Kerwin trying to take that away from Thomas. Puck on the wall in Swift Current territory. Here's Gilroy for Notre Dame. Centers that, comes all the way back to the line. There's a look and a shot blocked by Arnold. Kerwin follows up ahead to Arnold. 3 of them on the rush. Arnold has Kerwin going to the net. Drops. Watain. Shot blocked. And a hard shot block that time by Govan with 2 Wildcats headed to the net. That could have been a real dangerous play. Govan made sure to get her shoulder in the way of that hard snapshot. Here comes Kerwin again. 3-on-1 if they hurry. Kerwin across. And Appel couldn't get her stick on that. Centers it again. It deflects away from Swan. 6 seconds to go in the period. Notre Dame gets it to center. Loose puck. Johnson on that. And that'll do it. A 3-on-2 and a 3-on-1 for Swift Current in the final 30 seconds. But 1 shot block and 1 pass that doesn't quite connect. And Notre Dame's able to avoid too much trouble. Callie Arnold on the power play scored her 3rd goal of this young season. And 9 saves from Amaya Girogier have the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats up 1-0 on the Notre Dame Hounds through 20 minutes of play. Hoping to hear from Blake Voth, assistant coach of the Wildcats, coming up in our first intermission. It is a 1-0 Wildcats lead after 1. You're watching Innovation Credit Union Wildcats hockey on Amateur Sports TV.
do back there.
Take have a seat here. Hey, this is Sean Mullen. We're back for the first intermission of Amateur Sports TV's broadcast of the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats and the Notre Dame Hounds. It is a 1-0 Swift Current lead after one on the goal by Callie Arnold. I don't know if we have the graphic of that real quick. It is Callie Arnold from Bailey Kerwin on the power play, as we are joined by Blake Bolt, assistant coach for the Wildcats. And Blake, your team gets a power play goal. Tell me what you saw in that man advantage marker by Arnold.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's the way we draw it up, but it was along the wall, and they kind of all got down deep, and we popped it up to the middle, and she was in an open spot and ended up finding the net.
It's a period where it seems like most of your offensive opportunities until maybe that last minute came special teams. Your power play quickly and a couple of chances shorthanded, 5-on-5. What do you make of where you guys have been so far?
Yeah, we've noticed throughout the year that we need to get better 5-on-5 and just generate a bit more offense, and that comes with just hard work. And I think turnovers, we're turning a puck over at the blue line a little bit, and we need to kind of get it deep and establish a bit of a presence in their own net.
A unique circumstance for you with 2D out of your lineup and a forward too, but in particular the 2D, meaning your four defenders have to play every second shift. In particular, that's a big burden when there's lots of penalties. What's your take on how you have to approach that difficulty here today?
Yeah, the main thing with our D with 4 is we just have to be efficient with the puck. We can't skate it too much in our own zone and try to make something happen. We just got to give it to our forwards and let them do the work that way, and just, not make any situations harder than they need to be, and just keep it as simple as we can. Another
strong period from Girodia. I'm sure you've come to expect that. What did you like about her game in the first period?
Yeah, she's a rock back there for us. She can settle things down when things get a little dicey in our own end. And she just, even today, just controls the rebounds really well and doesn't give up much second opportunities. And same thing with 4D. That can help us out a lot if we can just limit it to one shot every time.
It seems like they're trying to put some big pressure on your players on the wall in the offensive zone. There's 2 players coming at the puck every time it's up the wall. What are some solutions with dealing with that pressure from Notre Dame today?
Yeah, when they're coming up the wall, the main thing is our centerman just has to get low, and we have to use the middle of the ice. Lots of good teams, they take the wall away, and good teams can use the middle of the ice to get it out too.
Last thought, not about today's game, but it looks like Van Hormer will get the start tomorrow. That's what Terry was telling me. We'll see if that ends up being the case. She hasn't played yet, but she's been practicing lots with you guys. What are some keys to success for her as she gets underway with you?
Yeah, the first game's always a bit tough. She did play an exhibition and stuff, so it'll just be getting that first period under her belt and kind of getting comfortable. And we believe in her, and we think she's a good goalie. That's why she's on our team, and we're not too concerned about anything like that. No matter who's in net, we know we got a chance to win every night. So,
thanks a lot, Blake. I know you know a thing or two about those first games as a goaltender at another level. There's a little butterfly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Blake.
Thank you.
That's Blake Bolt. He's the assistant coach here for Swift Current, also a former Junior A goaltender, so a guy who understands the pressures of playing high-level hockey as a netminder. Played in Vernon, actually, when I was a broadcaster for the Trail Smoke Eaters in the British Columbia Hockey League. So a guy who I watched play as a youngster, now can see coach here with the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats. And they've got a former Junior A goaltender on their coaching staff, also a former Wildcat on their coaching staff, and Jill Steenkamp, who was a very important player on this roster in previous years. Shots on goal in the first were 9-6 in favor of the Notre Dame Hounds. They had 2 power plays, were 0 for 2. Wildcats only 1 man advantage. They're 1 for 1 on the power play. So good special teams period for the Wildcats, but it's the 5-on-5 play that has to improve for Swift Current. With a 1-0 lead on Notre Dame after 1. We'll be back with more in our first intermission. And the second period, only 6 minutes away between the Wildcats and the Hounds. I'm Sean Mullen. You're watching Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey, up 1-0 on Notre Dame after 1 on Amateur Sports TV. We're back live at the Innovation Credit Union iPlex in Swift Current. I'm Sean Mullen with Jared Down. We're through 20 minutes of play in Swift Current, and it's the Wildcats with a 1-0 lead on the Notre Dame Hounds, and a U18 AAA female hockey here in Saskatchewan. Some great hockey all across the province, and these are two of the better teams. Swift Current second in the standings last year. Notre Dame was third, and Swift Current won that season series, by the way, 4-1. Jared, it's a 1-0 lead for the Wildcats through 20 minutes of play. Lone goal from Callie Arnold for Swift Current. What did you see in that first period?
I saw a lot of what we talked about at the beginning of the game. The big guns for Swift Current stepped up. We got a goal there with Arnold from Kerwin. And like you said earlier in the game, extremely good penalty kill for the Wildcats came in handy. They were able to relieve some of the pressure of that 4D system with putting out 3 forwards there on the penalty kill, and they can keep doing that going forward. It should bring them some success.
That's right. If you're going to take penalties, it is a good thing that the Wildcats do put heavy pressure from their forwards. That allows a little less energy burned off by the decor when there's only 4 of them out there. But, Johnson took a penalty, and you can't say that was a particularly bad penalty. But in particular on D, you have to be extra cautious today, because if a D takes a penalty, all of a sudden you're down to 3.
Agreed. Well, it's nice that you can have a forward step up back there.
Yeah.
You get a couple more forwards there, and if they run into penalty trouble in this game, that should alleviate some of the ice time for the D-men.
I think the big thing for Swift Current after 20 minutes of play, and we talked about it with Blake, is going to be improved 5-on-5 play. Notre Dame was a better team 5-on-5. They had a few good chances, not a ton of 5-alarm chances, but they had the puck more. They had the offensive zone more, and Swift Current's got to do a better job of that.
Yeah, and another couple things there is when Swift is coming into the end there's just a few plays that are just out of the reach. If they can fine-tune that a little more, hopefully they can get some more offensive consistency.
Well, and they have that speed in transition, and that's where the Wildcats can have success. You look at players like Kerwin and Arnold in particular, but there's lots of speed throughout their lineup. We saw that speed in transition on display in the final minute of the first period with the 3-on-2 and the 3-on-1, but you got to get that puck to the net. And the teams are coming back onto the ice. So let's turn it back onto the ice and get set for action. Teams will switch sides, of course. 1-0 Swift Current leading it. Callie Arnold, already 3 goals on the season. Now Terry Pavley was very high on the acquisition of Arnold when he brought her in from the Pursuit of Excellence. And he's seen why. And we're off in the second. Draw win by Jersey Watain, but Notre Dame's got the puck. Fed by Govan out to center. Bouffard dumps it right back in. Arnold puts some pressure on behind the net. Govan able to avoid that. Knocked to the line, held in for a shot by Watain. Not much on that. Stick by Bailey. Laid that puck to the corner, and now out to center again. Johnson, good feed. Over to Kerwin. And they're offside. Arnold was in ahead.
The winning number is 557231.
An early 50-50 draw number. Wildcats, by the way, didn't normally play in the Innovation Credit Union Iplex. Their home facility over the years has been Fairview West Arena in Swift Current, over near the school, the Fairview School on the south side of town. They even built a dressing room facility just for them in that area. It's a smaller facility, smaller ice surface, and that's where they still practice. But this year, under COVID-19, a chance to get more people in the building playing at the Iplex. You can have the full 150 where you couldn't at Fairview, and it's certainly better for this broadcast. But that does take away a bit of your home ice advantage because you're not playing. Here's a great chance in front for Notre Dame, and it rolls off the stick of Evans, who was pinching in from the point. You're not playing in the same facility where you practice. As that's a hard low shot by Anderson and a right pad save made by Maya Girogia. Rubley for Swift sends it up the far wall. Metzger gets a piece of it and deflects it out. It may sound like a small thing, but when you play in a building and practice in a building all the time, you get used to its dimensions and the bounces and everything. Wildcats come in. Thompson with it. Now, Swift Current's got a lot of speed, so maybe a larger ice surface will play to them. But they got to get used to this facility. And then once they played a bunch of home games here, it'll probably feel more like home. Here's Notre Dame. Dumped in by the Hounds Roberts. Bouffard back for it. We'll move it over to Johnson. Up the wall for Appel. At the line, held in by Govan. Quick shot for Notre Dame by Lear. She's been puck hungry in this game. Oh, a little body contact in the corner there. Bouffard shrugging Lear down. Lear's back up. Lear's only got a goal in 2 games so far this season, but she's been one of the more impressive Hounds in the game today. At the line, a high shot by Govan. Just keeps play going. And another extended sequence for Notre Dame inside Wildcats territory. They've had a few. As the puck's bouncing in the neutral zone, Swan backhands it in. Appel will chase after it for Swift Current. Off the bench there, Kerwin wasn't able to get a stick on it. That'll be held in at the line. Bacchus getting a piece of it. Now Watain for Swift Current. Brings it around behind the net. Arnold's got it. Oh, no, that off's over her stick. I was a little early saying that. Loose puck. Arnold has it. Takes the shot. Oh, and with Kerwin heading to the net, an important save by Kayla Bailey. Bailey gives up a rebound. She's got Bailey Kerwin bearing down. Arnold had a choice there as Swift Current forced a turnover at the offensive blue line. She had Kerwin headed to the net. Wanted to make sure she at least got a shot through, so took the shot. Goaltender for Notre Dame made sure there's no rebound chance out of it. Lead up the wall, that'll miss, and that's going to be an icing call against the Wildcats. Weekend action in this league. There's 3 games today. Weyburn in Regina. The Battlefords are in Prince Albert. Tomorrow, Regina's in Weyburn. Prince Albert in the Battlefords. Swift Current in Notre Dame. Schedule's set up all home and homes. Of course, with COVID-19, the league doing all they can to avoid hotel stays. Makes for some longer days for the teams, no doubt. And no weekday games either. But that protects them with education. And it's a challenge. The league had to find a way to make this work for everybody. Staying somewhere for multiple days doesn't make sense. And weekday games, obviously, provides a different kind of challenge, too. Puck play to the line for Notre Dame. Held in off the inboards. Trying to find it in her skates there was Rasmussen. Now a wraparound off the side of the goal. Moved by Gilroy back to the line. Here's Pitter. Her shot's blocked by Arnold. She's had a couple shot blocks today. Johnson trying to get to it. Backhands it up the wall. Arnold with a pass before Kerwin was in that spot, so that's a turnover. One of the problems with Swift Current's extended zone time in their own zone, again, when you have those 4D, keep moving, starting to leave and then force back, starting to leave, force back. That'll really tire your blue line out. And you do not want them to have any extended shifts either, because then all of a sudden, 40 seconds later, they have to be on the ice. And here's a shift with the top line on the ice for Swift, where they've had 3 or 4 chances to get that puck out and are unable to do so. And now deflected by Kerwin from behind center. That's an icing call, and they will not be allowed a change. This is not the line you want. Get stuck on the ice. Face off to the right of the Swift Current goal. What Terry Paisley, I think, wants to call his timeout. And there's a rejection of that. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get a sense of what happened there. Draw win by Notre Dame. Shot and rebound is there. And it's just out of the reach of Notre Dame's Niedermeyer and cleared to center. Here's Arnold. 1-on-3 as her line mates try to change. Arnold nearly gets her stick caught. Ooh, and now a 2-hand slash into the stick. I should say stick, not the body of Notre Dame's Govin. Arnold got free for Swift, hoping to allow for a line change, but tried to make a play between 3 players. Got held up and got frustrated, so fired back with a slash. Now, I'm not sure what the call is here, because I think there was a penalty coming before Arnold's slash. Was that the penalty to Ella Govin? And then Arnold's slash negated that. Perhaps that's what we're seeing here. Because Govin and Arnold are both in the box, and it is 5-on-5. So, coincidental penalties. And more importantly for the Wildcats, a fresh line. And a little bit of delay as the penalties are explained to head coach Craig Parrott of the Notre Dame Hounds. That's some key rest time for the D pair of Johnson and Bouffard, knowing they're going to have to get back out on the ice soon. Actually, it's Bouffard out, or sorry, Bacchus and Johnson. It's Bouffard and Rubley on the ice right now. Here's Metzger. 3-on-2, Swift Current. Metzger drops to Thompson. Thompson centers! And it's a penalty for a trip as the Wildcats look for a scoring chance. 3-on-2 there. Puck was dropped to Thompson, and Metzger, as she headed to the front of the net, guilty of a trip. And now Notre Dame will get a power play. Their third of the game. Arnold and Metzger both in the box. And Arnold and Metzger are both players that can get some minutes out there as penalty killing forwards. As the Wildcats quickly clear at the length of the ice. Wingert got it clear there. Notre Dame 0 for 2 on the power play. It's a 1-0 Swift Current lead. Here's Kerwin. Normally on the ice with Arnold while killing penalties, but Arnold's in the box. Kerwin Lays it back to Johnson. Return to Kerwin, and she'll clear that all the way down the ice and get a line change. Another effective penalty killing shift for Kerwin. Here's Thompson. Steers it behind the net. Oh, the Notre Dame netminder, Kayla Bailey, had lost her goaltending stick. And now she'll go and grab it. Hounds gain the Swift Current zone and making changes with the puck on the wall. Thompson's stick got caught in the skates there of Megan Forsyth. She trips up, but doesn't lead to a penalty. That'll be played by Johnson to the line. Forsyth held it in with her skate. Comes to Johnson again. Slaps it far side, and a good clear by Cameron Johnson, one of the alternate captains on this Swift Current roster. 49 seconds to go in the Metzger penalty. Hounds trying to tie this game, but their power play hasn't had much traction thanks to an excellent Swift Current penalty kill. Pass up the middle, deflects off the stick of Parrott. Swatted at. Up now to Kerwin, has some room. Kerwin drops. Watane can't get it to the net quick enough before two Hounds converge on her. Kerwin in the drop pass there probably had a better lane to the net herself. Now a 3-on-2 for the Hounds. Parrott leading it. She'll turn. Center. Wide open, scores! Thompson for the Notre Dame Hounds has her 5th goal of the season. Emma Thomas, I should say. Set up by Parrott on a 3-on-2, and the Wildcats were never able to get the numbers back. Parrott spun with the puck on the right half wall, out to the slot, and Emma Thomas already 5 goals on this season. And the Wildcats did a great job on their penalty kill up to that point. They got maybe a little too aggressive, 2 forwards in deep, a drop pass, and a shot taken away. All of a sudden, Notre Dame had numbers the other way, and it was a wide open shot from the slot for Emma Thomas. And there's a good display of why Emma Thomas is a goal scorer. She ripped that one on the wrist shot upstairs. Puck played up the wall. Held in at the left point by Wingert, only for a moment. Well, we talked about the excellent penalty kill for Swift, but you live with that aggressive PK, you die with it too. And the wide open shot for the Hounds, they've tied this game at 1. Swift Current's been shorthanded 3 times, Notre Dame only the 1. Staying out of the box, a key component of success, as this is going to be iced by Notre Dame. That's especially true if you're struggling to generate much 5-on-5. By the way, only 1 shot for Swift Current in this second period so far, and we're almost halfway through the period. So the Wildcats are needing to find a way to generate more. Here's Keller. Back to the line. Bouffard shooting. That's blocked. An attempt to hold that one in by Rubley, and that gets away from her. That'll be knocked down the ice, but not enough for an icing call. Swift Current at center ice. Keller's pass is behind Thompson. She'll just dump it to the Notre Dame line. Now follows it up again, and this time tried to get it deep, but hit the linesman with the puck. That's not ideal. Puck in some feet. And away goes Notre Dame. Long shot from the outside by Alexia Hill. Loved and held by Amaya Giraudier. Shots in the period are 4-1 in favor of Notre Dame. An update on the scoreboard. It is now wrapped up in Regina. The Rebels with a 6-1 win over the Weyburn Goldwings. Pass by Kerwin out of the reach of Watane. Knocked down at center by Watane. It will come into the feet of Bacchus. Head over to Johnson, up to center ice. Away comes Kerwin. Kerwin tries to cross, then the pass off skates. Watane keeps it alive. Arnold Works it back to the line. Johnson lost it in her feet. Pass to Arnold, deflects it down to Kerwin. This line's starting to get moving here. Watain lost it. And Gobin will knock it away. Pinching in is Bacchus. Trying to keep that play alive on the wall. Followed up here by Arnold. Leaves it for Kerwin. Kerwin tried to go across to Arnold. Good stick on that by Thomas, who is the goal scorer for Notre Dame as that puck's fired in off the blocker of netminder Girogier. Swan back for Swift. Has her stick lifted. An aggressive forecheck by Notre Dame. Anderson. Swan got contacted down to the ice by Gilroy. Played up the wall. Kerwin's on that. Tried to get it out to Arnold. Arnold away down the right wing. Dumps it, not deep. Going for a line change. Wildcats have to be careful here, and they'll be called offsides. Long shift for Kerwin and Arnold. Trying to get off the ice there. And instead, they're not able to get the puck deep and take an offside. That will allow for a change. Regina's goals in the win over Weyburn. Hayhurst, Pritchard, another from Hayhurst, Flynn, Gerard, and Dyer. Fowler with the lone goal for Weyburn on a power play in the third period. Shots were 47-23 in favor of Regina. So a dominant effort for the top-ranked Rebels. They've yet to lose a game this season, 3-0. But one of those wins coming in double overtime here against Swift Current last weekend. Anderson moves it behind the net for Notre Dame. Trying to follow it up there is Rasmussen. Gilroy cuts out. She'll shoot it high. Notre Dame, 12 rookies on their roster. Now, the rookie in Notre Dame is not a traditional rookie necessarily. They have players coming up throughout their system, and they'll bring some more veteran-age players as rookies. Here's Appel. And that's an icing call. They will not be allowed to change. Appel had some time and space there, but wasn't able to do anything with it. A sluggish second period for Swift Current. There's no question about it. Only one shot on net, one extended shift of pressure in the Notre Dame zone, and a power play goal against. And it's a 1-1 game here. Notre Dame finding a way to contain the speed of the Wildcats. And you have to wonder if the shortage of bodies is having an impact too. You take 3 players out of any team's lineup. You'd hope you'd have more jump earlier in the game in that scenario, because it's going to be tougher and tougher as time goes on, in theory. And that puck deflects onto the Wildcats bench. 7 minutes to go in the second period. 1-1 score. Callie Arnold on a first period power play goal for Swift Current. Emma Thomas with the goal for Notre Dame. The official word on the goal has Parrott getting it, but it definitely wasn't. So the score sheet online is incorrect. But that would be Thomas, number 3, from 14, Parrott, and 6, Gilroy. It's the official word on that goal. In my mind, anyway, would be the official word. Online, they have it with Parrott. Puck smacked in the Wildcats territory. Bacchus is there. Moves it over. Pass by Johnson, deflects. Keller sends it cross ice, looking for Metzger, and she's forced back. Johnson leaves it for Metzger. Up the middle, nicely done to Thompson. Cross ice, here's Keller. Keller cutting into Notre Dame territory and not able to find a way to the front of the net. Good defensive play to break that up. Held in at the left point by Rubin. That was Notre Dame's McDonald on the blue line, who made a good deep play on Keller. Now Swift Current following it up. Centered. Line pass there by Kerwin. There's nobody in front, and that'll be cleared out to center. Puck deflected. At center ice, overskated by Watain. Bouffard back in her own zone, moves to Rubley. Wildcats have numbers as Notre Dame is changing. Pass across now for Kerwin, shooting! Tried to go 5-hole, and that'll be gobbled up by Kayla Bailey. 5:24 to go in the second period. It is a 1-1 score. We're live on Amateur Sports TV. Innovation Credit Union Wildcats hockey. Every single Wildcats home game this season. Draw one by Swift Current. A point shot by Johnson. Kayla Bailey saw that one all the way. Watane taking the face-off here again. Up against Gilroy, I think. Not Gilroy, sorry. That was Niedermeyer. She got booted from the dock. Wildcats win another draw. Johnson moves it over to Bacchus. Slap shot wide. Arnold scores! Callie Arnold, her second of the hockey game. And Bacchus, the rookie on the blue line, gets the assist. Swift Current wins the draw. Johnson on the previous play, after a face-off win by the Wildcats, and it was Jersey Watane who won the draw. Johnson had shot it from the middle of the point. This time, Bacchus smacks her stick on the ice to call for the puck. A slap shot missing the net off the inboards. Into Arnold. And Arnold on the other side of the net had a gaping hole to put that in. Here's Arnold again. And she can't get through. Now they've announced it as Kerwin. That was Arnold, wasn't it? Referees missed that. They gave the goal to Kerwin. It was most definitely Arnold. 23 and 16, very different numbers, so I'm making sure I'm not losing my mind. But it is Arnold with her second of the game, fourth of the season. And Bacchus, credit her with a smart play, calls for the puck, then puts it off the inboards. That leads to a wide open look for Arnold. Now, I can't say definitively whether Bacchus meant for that to go off the inboards or not, but she knew that she had more room to get a puck through, called for it, got it towards the net, and when you do that, good things can happen, and that's exactly what happens for Swift. 2 straight offensive zone draw wins by Watane. She won't get credit with an assist, but big face-off wins, and Swift, who's been looking for some kind of spark, gets it there. Back to the line here, Bouffard. Shooting, redirected, nice save as Keller got that to the net. Bailey able to readjust on that deflection by Keller. Sent behind the net, Metzger going for it, lost her balance. Played to the wall and out to center ice. There's Bouffard. She'll go across for Rubley. That'll deflect. Keller dumps it in, and the Wildcats make changes. 3:33 to go, second period. 2-1, Swift Current leading this one. Puck at center ice. Gilroy stripped. Nice play there by Wingert. Skates it back in. Left corner. Rubley pinching, keeps it alive. Wingert tripped. No call on that one as Rubley keeps it alive again. Backhands it. Around behind that. Chased here by Swan. Played away from her. And that'll get to center. For Notre Dame, it's dumped in by Roberts, and she'll make a change. Johnson. Pass up for Wingert. She's stripped. Dumped back in for Notre Dame by Hill. Now Bouffard for Appel, and Appel will play it down into Notre Dame territory. Wingert heads off. Swan and Appel stay on for now. And Swift Current makes a D change. 2-1 Wildcats lead it. Block at center ice. Hounds have to get on side, and they won't. A lack of patience there by Anna-Marie Niedermeyer as she'll come over the blue line with 2 Hounds still in Swift Current territory. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the second period. 2-1. The Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats lead as that puck deflects out of play. I'm Sean Mullen along with Jared Down, who is operating our camera today, as well as providing some analysis for us. It's Glenn Mumford back at our studios, handling production as Notre Dame lost possession at the Swift Current line. Away comes Kerwin. Has some room and takes the shot with Watain headed to the net. Good save by Kayla Bailey to not allow a rebound there. Bailey allowed 3 goals against Weyburn in her only other outing this season. Weyburn, a fairly offensively challenged team. She's been solid today. Not a ton of shots, only 12 from Swift, but pretty good rebound control. Swift tried to make a change to their second line. Referee says, nope, too late. Wildcats get control of the puck off the draw. Here is Kerwin to the line. Rubley's shot is blocked. Kerwin follows up, got it to the net. That just missed. Kayla Bailey in the the Notre Dame goal did not see that one coming, and her move for the puck was too late, but the puck missed the net. Rubley back in her own line. Pass off the mark there, trying to go to Bouffard. Dumped in by Anderson for Notre Dame. Rubley back for it, leaves it for Bouffard. Up the middle to Thompson. Keller can't clear. Comes to Bouffard again, over to Rubley, and there was 2 players coming at her, so she just knocked it back to the wall, and Bouffard will clear. Loose puck comes out to the neutral zone. Keller can't get it deep. Banked ahead and dumped deep by Notre Dame's Alexia Hill. On the left wall, it's Lear. Side of the net. Oh, a quick shot. Pad save made by Girogier as Lear got it to the net. And Girogier just got her left pad on it. Just a reflex save there for Swift. And again, I've been mentioning Olivia Lear throughout our broadcast today. She has been very impressive on the puck for Notre Dame and nearly had the equalizer there. Down the stretch we come in our second period. 2-1 Wildcats lead it as Arnold's got both goals for Swift. Puck dumped down into Notre Dame territory. Wrong around to the wall. Kerwin there for Swift. Kerwin. Watain. Back to the line. Johnson. Waits, shoots, redirected wide. Metzger's on that. Works it to Johnson. It's off her skate. She can't get it to her stick. Now backhands it deep. Picked up by Kerwin. And a penalty for a slash against Johnson. Not a great penalty for Swift Current there. They had the puck inside offensive territory, generating some cycle and some pressure, which they needed to do more of 5-on-5, and obviously a retaliation there by Johnson of some type after she backhanded it deep. And the referees didn't see the initial play, but they saw the follow-up slash, and Johnson's in the box for the second time today. That takes away some Swift Current pressure, 5-on-5, and now forces them to kill a penalty for the last 20 seconds here. Arnold gets it to the line, not out. 17 seconds left in the period. A point shot high. Side of the net. Gilroy following up for Notre Dame. 10 seconds left in the period. Back to the point again for Evans. Wrister deflected on a block to the corner. And Thompson will clear it. That'll do it for this period. The Wildcats started the second period without much jump. Only one shot on net through 10-plus minutes. But another goal by Callie Arnold on the rebound of a Tess Bacchus shot that hit off the inboards. Sparked the Wildcats to a lead and a much stronger finish to the second frame. Ended up outshooting Notre Dame by a 7-6 margin, despite the slow start to the period. Not a lot of shots in general, but certainly a much better finish to the period for the Wildcats than they started it. And the most important stat of all, Swift Current 2, Notre Dame 1 after 40 minutes of play. Thomas, the lone goal for the Hounds. Arnold has 2 for the Wildcats. It's 2-1 Swift Current. You're listening to Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV.
Genuinely, I hope I get it.
We're back at the Innovation Credit UnionIplex in Swift Current. I'm Sean Mullen along with Jared Down. Through 40 minutes of play, it is a 2-1 lead for the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats over the Notre Dame Hounds. And Jared, a second period that there's no question started a little bit slow for the Wildcats and seemed to pick up the pace in the second half of it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, a little slower start to the period, and as they transitioned on, they were able to get a little more offensive zone time, and the speed of the Wildcats definitely showed in that second half of that period, but they closed the period out with an undisciplined penalty, and we head into the third period down the man.
Yeah, that'll be the fourth penalty kill in the game for Swift Current. That's not a huge number compared to some of the other games, but you want to avoid it as much as possible when you only have 4 defensemen playing, 3 scratches for the Wildcats today, including 2 defenders. So that certainly makes every penalty a little more meaningful. Wildcats themselves have only had the 1 power play chance, so they took advantage of that, but haven't seen their power play work other than that. So that accounts for some of the shot gap too. But early in the period, only 1 shot on net in the first 10 plus minutes of that second period, maybe 1 offensive zone sequence for Swift, and then they got shorthanded, and the penalty kill started very strong, but Kerwin had a path to the net, tried to drop the puck to Attain, had the shot taken away from her, and all of a sudden its numbers headed the other direction. And that's when you have a veteran player like Ryan Parrott, the leading point getter, and Robert Morris University committed player for Notre Dame. She sets up, makes a little turn in the right half wall, waits to see who gets open. And who's open? Emma Thomas, right in the heart of the slot, number 3 for Notre Dame. And she rips home her 5th goal of the season. And Jared, there was no chance for Giroje on that one. A pure sniper for Notre Dame. You can see that from Thomas, who, when she had that much time and space, wasn't going to make a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. You can see why she's one of the more lethal girls in the league. And it's one of those things that you just got to make sure you can't let her open, because she's going to capitalize on those chances when she gets them.
Swift Current started to push back a little bit after that. And there was a sequence later on in the second frame, I think, that was the real turning point of the period. They won back-to-back draws in the offensive zone. The rookie, Jersey Watane, and it's an underrated skill set, is winning key faceoffs at key times. And Watane, centering 2 veteran wingers in Kerwin and Arnold, tasked with winning those big draws, wins the first one back to Johnson. She gets it to the net. Good save, no rebound. So she goes out, wins another one. And this time, Johnson set up in the same spot, but it's Tess Bacchus tapping her stick on the right side of the point, gets the pass from Johnson, slaps the puck just wide. It hits off the inboards right to Callie Arnold on the other side of the net. A gaping hole for her, and Arnold puts in her 4th goal of the season, 2nd of the night, for a 2-1 Swift Current lead. And first of all, will not be an assist for Jersey Watane on that one, Jared. But as I said, a real key to both those plays was getting that draw win, and the back-to-back draw wins too, because Notre Dame sees what Swift's going to do in the first one, the low shot, middle of the point, so they change it up the next time, and all of a sudden it opens things up and a goal scored.
Definitely one of the more underrated stats in hockey is those face-off draws. So many big plays rely on that, whether it's getting out of your own zone, setting up on the power play, setting up offensively, and you can definitely see there of why they have her on that top line with Arnold and Kerwin, as it worked out well for them in that series.
And give credit to Tess Bacchus too, to recognize the situation, see she had maybe a better look at the net, and I can't say, I'm not in her head, I don't know if she intentionally missed the net to set up the play on the other side of the goal, or if she was just a little off the mark, but you hammer a puck that hard off the inboards, and it's almost as good as a rebound sometimes. We saw that last weekend when Regina got a goal that way against Swift Current. So a smart play by Bacchus, the rookie defender, who's had to play some big minutes today with 2D out of the lineup for the Wildcats. So Bacchus has stepped in, played big minutes, gets a point, and it's Callie Arnold converting. We talked about her a few times in our broadcast. Big addition for the Wildcats late in the offseason to get her from Pursuit of Excellence. Had 2 years in this league for Saskatoon. Went to play for Pursuit of Excellence last year. A 17-year-old with a ton of speed and offensive prowess. And what we've seen in this game is awareness around the net. She gets a tap and goal on the power play and a quick release on that puck at the side of the goal. If she'd waited at all, that would have allowed goaltender Kayla Bailey to get back in position. But no hesitation, right to the back of the net, and it's a 2-1 Swift Current lead. And Arnold's been key. You mentioned the end of the period, and we've got about 3 minutes until the puck will drop in the third. There'll be 1:35 of power play time for Notre Dame. We finally saw Swift get some offensive zone time, and they could get better and better that way as the period went along. But they had some real good zone time in that final minute. And then a retaliation penalty by Johnson. I didn't see what happened to her initially that caused the retaliation slash. But as Swift Current had the puck deep in the offensive zone, she took a slashing penalty, and Johnson's off in the box. So 1 takes away some opportunity for Swift Current. 2, they're now going to be shorthanded. And Notre Dame does have a goal on 3 power play tries. This will be their 4th. Generally, Jared, the penalty kill has been excellent for Swift Current. But the more you take penalties, the more opportunities exist. And I think pretty clear there's some shooters on that Notre Dame roster they have to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing is, as we get deeper into this third period, fatigue is definitely going to start being an issue for the shorthanded Swift Current team. And those penalties are going to be even harder to kill. So staying disciplined going forward, keeping the puck in the offensive zone is going to be beneficial to saving that fatigueness.
Harder to kill and harder to avoid. Because if you get tired as the game goes along, when do you take the most penalties? When you're tired. And so we'll see what happens for Swift Current. This third period, it's going to be one where they're going to have to test their will a little bit, especially those 4D. They're going to have to play some big minutes with only a 1-goal lead. A little bit of insurance would be nice, but a penalty kill is the first step. We'll be back with the second period for the third period of action. Swift Current leading Notre Dame 2-1. This is Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV. We're back at the Innovation Credit Union Iplex in Swift Current. I'm Sean Mullen, along with Jared Down. 2-1. Innovation Credit Union Wildcats lead the Notre Dame Hounds, trying to hand Notre Dame their first loss of this Saskatchewan female under-18 AAA League season. Wildcats, a win, a regulation loss, and an overtime loss on this season. And Notre Dame starts this third period on the power play, and we're off. Draw win by the Hounds. They're 1 for 3 on the man advantage. This is power play number 4. And here is Parrott. Play broken up. Here's Kerwin away. Only one player to beat. Kerwin crosses to the middle and shoots. And that'll be caught and held by Kayla Bailey. And the Notre Dame goal. Other league action today. 6-1 Regina with a win over Weyburn. Battlebirds are in Prince Albert today as well. Here's Thomas. Ooh, she got tripped up by Bacchus, but incidental, so not called, and that'll be cleared to center ice by Thompson. 45 seconds left in the Johnson penalty. Skating back in with some speed there is Evans. Thomas out to the slot. Here's a look! And Niedermeyer got a shot to the net. Giroje with the save. Our next broadcast of Swift Current Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV will be next Sunday. As the play continues, we'll get you details of that in a moment. Power play chance here for Notre Dame for another 28 seconds. And it's cleared the length of the ice by the Wildcats again. Good pressure. Arnold can't get a stick on it. That's knocked out to center. Backhanded back in by Arnold as Kerwin will chase it down. 6 seconds left. And that'll do it for the Notre Dame power play. One shot on net by Niedermeyer. Otherwise, very solid penalty killing by Swift Current again, as usual. And Watane will clear that out. Out of the reach, though, of Keller. A little less on that, and Keller had a chance to get loose. Puck at center ice. Keller drops it back for Bouffard. Out for a Pell. Can't get it deep. Bouffard follows it up. She'll skate it into Notre Dame territory. That knocked away from her stick. Stays with it on the wall, though. Puck battle, whistle dead. A little longer, I think, even than it normally would. Our next broadcast won't come actually until the month of December. There is a break next weekend. Wildcats are in Notre Dame tomorrow. And the Wildcats don't play again until Saturday, December 5th in Weyburn, and then Sunday, December 6th. They'll host Weyburn. It's a later afternoon game. As the puck is sent from behind the net and covered up by Giraudier. Sunday, December 6th, 4:15. Weyburn will be here. And then a home-and-home with Regina the following weekend before the Christmas break. Of course, we're all crossing our fingers that hockey's going to be able to continue as we deal with the unpredictable nature of the pandemic. We're enjoying what we can get out of it as long as we can get it. Now a nice drive to the net by Parrott. She scores! Ties the game! Ryan Parrott from the corner crosses the front of the goal, and that's why Robert Morris University signed her up. What a play. Got out of the corner, across the front of the net, and it's the two leading scorers for Notre Dame that have been their difference makers in this game. Thomas, the power play goal in the second period, set up by Parrott. McLean, a lone assist on that. It is a 2-2 game just like that. Skill players get a little bit of room, and they're going to make you pay, and that's what happens with Parrott there. Cross-ice feed out of the reach of Keller. That'll deflect all the way onto the Notre Dame goal, and Kayla Bailey is not going to mess around. She'll just cover that up. Six to 1, Regina with a win over Weyburn today. Another under 18 AAA female hockey. We do not have an update on the score yet from the Battlefords against Prince Albert. I think maybe a scoreless first period, if I'm reading that correctly. Wildcats win the draw in the offensive zone. Here's Kerwin to Watane. That got away from her, and Thomas clears it out. Here's Parrott again. Forced to the outside by Rubley. Gotta watch her. Parrott takes it to the right half wall, centers it. That's out of the reach of Notre Dame's McLean, who had an assist on the earlier goal. Thomas keeps it alive, sends it down to Parrott in the corner. Kicks it to her forehand. Parrott takes it all the way back to the line. Turns and shoots. Blocker save made there by Giraudier. Parrott again, centered that one, and Anderson couldn't handle the pass. Forsyth lost it out in the neutral zone. Here's Kerwin away. Down the left wing side, and she's held up a bit. Kerwin will follow it up. Has an assist today. Kerwin still looking for her first goal of the season. A 29-goal scorer last season. As the puck comes to Anderson at center. Bouffard's on it. Ahead to Watane, who gets it deep for a completed line change. 15:30 to go, second period, third period, tie game at 2. And an icing call here against Swift, and the Notre Dame bench does not agree. They felt their forward stick was lifted, and a conference of referees, I think, are going to agree and put this face-off at center ice. Let's see what their call is anyway. Yeah, center ice face-off. I think that's the right call, honestly. 2-2 game, shots 19-14 for Notre Dame. 4-1 for Notre Dame in this period. Again, a slow start for the Wildcats. That's been the story in all three periods. I thought their penalty kill actually was excellent in the first minute and a half of this third period, but again, the chances have been all Notre Dame pretty well in the opening stages of the period, as it was in the first, as it was in the second. And Swift Current's play picked up as the period went along. Keller with the draw win here, comes back to Bacchus, has some room, shoots, rebound is there, and the Wildcats can't get a good handle on it. Kayla Bailey needed the initial stop and then had to pounce on the rebound opportunity. Good low shot by Bacchus, who has an assist in this game. Got that to the net. Rebound opportunity. Back out comes the top line for the Wildcats. Watane, Arnold, and Kerwin. Watane a draw win. Bacchus a shot. That one's blocked. Thomas getting in the way of that. And Kerwin is going to take a penalty here, I think. Is that a knee? It is Kerwin. So Swift Current's going to be shorthanded again, and without their captain, who's their best penalty killer on top of that. Notre Dame 1 for 4 on the power play. Swift has only had the one opportunity on the power play. This is try number 5 already for the Hounds. You don't normally see a discrepancy that size. It is a trip call. I didn't see a trip, maybe a little hook. Play to the line, that gets out. And an offside call against Peyton Evans of the Notre Dame Hounds, who just misread that one. 14:41 to go, third period. 1:39 left on the penalty to Kerwin. Thompson will come out for Swift on this draw. Good, clean face-off win, and Rubley puts that into her own bench. And that'll actually bring the face-off. Now it deflects off a Notre Dame stick. It'll bring a face-off to just outside Notre Dame territory. This time the draw is tied up, and eventually the Hounds get possession. Evans a little behind the back play. Good pressure by Arnold. Knocks it loose, and that'll be dumped by Thompson into Notre Dame territory. Passed by Thomas up. Now Gilroy passed it off. Quick low shot. Stopped by Girogier as Perrick got that to the net. And now Arnold and Perrick tie up and go down. 14:12 to go in the third. 1:10 left in the Kerwin penalty. Draw will be deep in Wildcats territory, and the second unit out on the power play for the Hounds. Puck comes directly to the wall. Good pickup there by Niedermeyer back to the line. Now Govin. Her shot's blocked by Appel. And a penalty coming to Swift Current for contact from Johnson. An extra player out here, and Bouffard's going to touch it, but it'll be a 5-on-3. It's a hook. The Wildcats, already shorthanded for the 5th time in this game, now will face 54 seconds of 5-on-3, and they have only had one power play themselves. Absolutely a tougher battle here, and not only that, but their 5-on-3 they have to face without their captain. Uh-oh. Looks like there's it's a timeout call. I saw the T motion, and I thought there might have been another penalty here. For unsportsmanlike, perhaps. No. Now what's going on? There is another penalty. I don't think that was the timeout. I think that was an unsportsmanlike penalty call. A parade to the penalty box here for the Wildcats in a tied game. Already short players. This is going to be a test of will here for Swift. And a draw win by Notre Dame. Here's a one-timer by Parrott. Loose puck. Comes back to the line. Evans has it. Parrott. Top right circle. Shooting. They deflected in. 3-2 Notre Dame on the goal by Bryn McLean. A hard low shot by Parrott, and I believe it's McLean who gets the stick on it. Deflecting that over the glove of Amaya Giroje, and it's 3-2 Hounds. Now, if I'm correct, and that was a unsportsmanlike penalty, it'll still be 5-on-3 for another minute 44. Already shorthanded one. The Wildcats took the hook to Johnson, and then an unsportsmanlike right after. And so the 5-on-3 goal counts here and continues into another 5-on-3 for a minute 44 seconds. The one advantage for Swift is that Kerwin's back on the ice. But what a chance for Notre Dame to put their stamp on this game. Now the bench minor must have to be served by a player on the ice, because otherwise I don't think Swift Current would have put Thompson in the box. She's a key penalty killer for them. But a bench minor as they already go down 5-on-3, and this is an absolute, I want to say must kill. I mean, already down one. Offense has been tough to come by for Swift in this game. Here's Goldman racing in. She'll move that over to the wall. Back to the line, Forsyth. Her pass deflected by Kerwin. The second unit's out here for Notre Dame, not putting the hammer down at the first. Goldman slides it side of the net. Centering feed. Good breakup by Bouffard as Anderson tried to cross creaser. Forsyth to the line for Goldman. She'll shoot wide. 40 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Anderson, the rookie, holds. Centers! Oh, and a miss hit on that one by Olivia Lear. Back to the line. Forsyth closing in. Kerwin on her. Can't knock it loose. Back out looking for Lear, and a pounce by netminder Amaya Giroje. Only 25 seconds before Johnson can get out of the box. Third minor to Johnson in this game. As Swift is down to 4 D-men today, and taking a D-man off the ice is tough enough. But only one shot allowed in this extended sequence of 5-on-3. 20 seconds of 5-on-3 to go. Top units back out here. Centered, deflects back to the line and skipped away from Evans out to the neutral zone. 10 seconds on the 5-on-3. Thomas back in. Offside is the call. And Notre Dame not able to get set up with their top unit. They'll come off. Only 6 seconds of 5-on-3 left. Massive, massive kill by Swift Current so far with a minute 44 of 5-on-3 time. Arnold out on the draw. Beaten by Niedermeyer, but Kerwin tried to jump on it. Couldn't. Johnson's out of the box. It's now 5-on-4, 15 more seconds. Giroje plays it up the wall. Arnold can't get it. At the line, Govan moves it. Niedermeyer, low shot, deflects wide. A dangerous redirection. 2 seconds. The penalties are done. Swift Current back to even strength. Only 1 goal allowed in all that penalty time. The damage limited by a very good penalty kill as Kerwin had it, but out of gas, couldn't clear the zone. Bouffard sends it to the wall. That'll ring around behind the net. Watain skates to it. Watain looking for Arnold. That'll miss everybody. Icing is waved off. That's a huge wave as Swift Current's able to get a couple of fresh bodies on. Anderson for Notre Dame. Her pass across center. 11 minutes to go in the third. Notre Dame has a 1-goal lead for the first time in this contest on a 5-on-3 goal by McLean. Notre Dame has had 8 power play opportunities to Swift Current's 1, and that has certainly been the difference in this game so far. Metzger, slap shot, missed the net. Wildcats held to only 3 shots on net in this third period so far, but they've been shorthanded much of it. Now half a period to go. They need a goal to at least try to force overtime, and a wraparound try creates a rebound there in their crease, and Bacchus has got it, and she'll clear. No icing, and you hear the coach for Notre Dame, Craig Parrott, say that's 2, suggesting the linesmen have missed 2 icing calls here. As Thompson cuts back in, she has her stick checked. Puck in some skates. That'll come across now for Parrott. Bearing down on Bouffard. Parrott makes a move, got around her. Parrott to the net. Stopped by Giroux. A big pad save on Notre Dame's top gun. Thomas moves it up into some feet. Comes to Bouffard. She'll take it for Swift behind her net. Moves it up the wall. Wingert on it. Tripped up a bit, but not enough to draw a penalty. Comes to Thomas. Makes a move backhand wide of the net. Bouffard, long shift for her, got it to the line, not out, held in by Gobin. That'll come to Johnson behind the goal. She's pressured, moves it to the corner. Parrott's on that, moves it back behind the net. Johnson up the wall, into Parrott, who is down on the ice. Bouffard follows it up, and away come the Wildcats out now. Thompson on a falling player makes a move. Has it still as she's being back-checked, tried to send it out front. In the skates of Wingert, Thompson wrapping around with it, and she does not have any juice left. Had that knocked away and cleared out by Thomas, and that'll be dumped into Swift Current territory by Alexia Hill. Giroux out of her net, moves it up the wall. Appel's got it, 8:45 to go in the third. It's a 1-goal Notre Dame lead. Here's Wingert, long shift for Wingert, gets it deep. That'll take a funny hop out to the side of the Notre Dame goal, but grabbed and cleared away safely by McDonald. Swan keeps it alive for Swift. Third line here for the Wildcats, and a penalty coming to the Hounds for a hold. Give Lakin Swan some credit there. End of the shift for the third line for Swift. Swan stays hungry on the puck, trying to force it ahead, and causes Kyra Anderson to take a holding penalty. Wildcats down a goal at their first power play since the first period, and that only took seconds for them to score on that man advantage. Arnold on the draw. Gets some help by Kerwin. They'll get control. Now a drive by Metzger is blocked and cleared by Parrott. Notre Dame's top player, who has a goal and 2 assists in this game, also blocking shots here on the penalty kill. And Kerwin missed that pass. The Wildcats are sent doubling back. Minute 35 to go in the power play for Swift Current. Starting from their own zone, Metzger ahead now for Arnold, who's got 2 goals for Swift. Arnold gains the line, offside the call, as Jersey Watain is a step ahead of the play. 3-2, Notre Dame leading this one. Here's Kerwin. Collected by Kerwin again. Now she'll gain the line. 1:08 to go in the power play, and Kerwin's pass is intercepted and cleared. Just nothing doing. For Swift Current on this man advantage. Here's Arnold. Gains the line. Drops it for Keller. Keller turns to her forehand, works it to the point. Rubley. In for Thompson. Leaves it for Keller. Back to the line. Here's a chance. Bouffard shooting, redirected by Arnold in front. Just wide. Off the side of the goal. Rubley fires it. And a stick save made by Kayla Bailey. And that one's cleared. 20 seconds left in the power play. Maybe time for one last rush here for the Wildcats as they change a couple players. 13 seconds left in the power play. No shot actually counted on net as they'll give that away in the neutral zone. Appel trying to get to it and can't. She had a power play goal last weekend. That'll do it for the Swift Current power play. No shots counted. Several shots directed towards the net, but none of them actually testing the goaltender, Kayla Bailey. And now the Wildcats turn it over. 6:15 to go in the third. Notre Dame holding a 1-goal lead. They got on a 5-on-3 power play. Have outshot Swift Current with all that power play time significantly here in this third period. Only 3 shots for the Wildcats. Notre Dame's got 9. Dumped in deep now by Swift Current's Appel, and that'll be covered up by Kayla Bailey as Appel tried to get to the net. And she got a little lower back cross check from Peyton Evans as a thank you very much. 5:53 to go in the third. Wildcats need to put some pressure on. Top line comes out. Watain on the draw. Won it back to the line to Johnson. Johnson moves it to Arnold. A quick slap shot and a stick save. Now Watain. Trying to cycle that down. Comes to Arnold behind the net. She'd love to get that hat-trick goal to tie this one up. Arnold back to the line. Johnson. Her pass didn't have enough hop on it, and that'll be cleared out by Notre Dame. Lear's got it. Backhands it deep. Out of her net to play it, Girogier. Moves it to the corner to Johnson. Now Kerwin up the wall, not out. Bouncing puck, sent out front. They score another. It's a 4-2 Notre Dame lead. Right on the doorstep, Alexia Hill pounces and converts. And the Hounds, who came into the third period down a goal, have poured 3 on the Swift Current net and put the Wildcats in a position to need a big comeback lead. They give McDonald the goal. I'm pretty sure that was Hill. There's a shot here blocked and the rebound collected by Roberts. The referees who are keeping score here are making me check my eyes. I'm pretty sure McDonald's a left-handed shot blue liner, so maybe I'm wrong on that. As that puck's dumped down the ice. Swift Current, regardless of who scored that one, needs 2 to come back here, and they're going to have to start taking chances. Metzger, a centering pass for Thompson is blocked. Thompson stayed on it, can't get a shot through. Puck deflected. Up high. Grabbed and dumped into the Wildcats bench. 4 minutes and 19 seconds to go. The Notre Dame Hounds have a 2-1 or a 4-2 lead on Swift Current. This is a Notre Dame team that only won once against the Wildcats all of last year. 12 rookies in their lineup. Have forced the Wildcats to take 8 minor penalties in this game and trying to take advantage of a team that is shorthanded physically with 3 players out of their lineup. And you have to think that has played a part in this for sure. Puck in the corner, a little bit of time. It's centered. And Thomas almost had a look there as a Parrott pass. Put her in a good spot. Grab for Swift Current by Winger. Turns it over to Parrott. Wrong person. She rips a wrist shot wide of the net. A wide open look. Tried to go block her hand on Girogier. And if you're going to give a puck away, you don't want to give it away against Ryan Parrott, who's got 8 points in 3 games this season already, including 3 tonight. Puck played to the wall. 3:28 to go in the third. Dumped in deep to Notre Dame territory. battle for it. Collected by Watain and forced out of the zone. And Swift Current's back in offside. Three minutes and 2 seconds to play in this third period. Notre Dame Hounds lead it by a 4-2 score. There'll be a rematch between these two clubs tomorrow in Notre Dame. And then a week off. Almost 2 weeks off for the league. Getting back to play December 5th, 6th. And our next broadcast won't be until December 6th. Back in this facility when Weyburn's in town for the second of a home and home. Puck dumped into Swift Current territory. Wildcats down 2 goals, have 2 minutes and 30 seconds with a clearly tired lineup to come back. Here's a chance up close on a wraparound by Notre Dame's Phoebe Roberts, turned aside. Wildcats can't clear. Now Thompson's got it. Good patient pass there by Thompson to Keller. She'll go cross ice, but it's behind Metzger, who had to turn for it, now gets it deep. Partial change by Swift. Keller chases it down. Pile of bodies. Swift trying to reach for it. Played up the wall for Anderson. Good interception there by Swan, but she had it taken away by Bryn McLean. McLean with the go-ahead goal for Notre Dame, and also an assist earlier on the tying goal. Big third period by McLean. As the puck is deflected over to the Notre Dame line. Ooh, and it looks like Wingard ended up catching Harrod for Notre Dame with the knee. And any chance to come back now for Swift Current looks to have been snuffed out by another penalty. It'll be a penalty kill here for the Wildcats with a minute 27 to go, already down 2. Face off to the right of the Swift Current goal, won by Notre Dame. Work back to Evans. Evans shooting. That one's blocked by Arnold. Swift can be pretty aggressive shorthanded, but we've got a minute 14 to play, down 2 goals. Both of them would have to be scored shorthanded. And that one's cleared the length of the ice by Kerwin. Arnold will chase after it. Evans on that, Arnold on her. Knocked it loose, Kerwin's got it. Tried to make a move to her backhand and couldn't get a shot loose. Down the stretch we come in the third. Final minute of play with Notre Dame up by 2. Fired that into Swift Current territory. After it now is Hill, who has the insurance goal for the Hounds. Wildcats follow that up. Clearing attempt does not get to Kerwin. Rubley will follow it up and get it deep down the ice. 30 seconds to play, and Swift Current changes 3/4 of the penalty killers. Arnold and Kerwin to the bench, and they were their best chance of scoring shorthanded. Looks like time's run out here on Swift. In a game where the penalties caught up to them, and there wasn't enough 5-on-5 the other way, you'd have to think the 3 players out of their lineup does have an impact here tonight. 7 seconds to play. And the Notre Dame Hounds, with 12 rookies in their lineup, on their roster, score one at the buzzer. That won't count. Thomas just at the buzzer with a backhander. They won't count that one. It doesn't matter either way. The Notre Dame Hounds, who started 2-0 with 2 wins over Weyburn.
Today's final score, Notre Dame Hounds 4, Wildcats 2. Shots on goal.
Take advantage of a massive edge in power play opportunities and a Swift Current team short of bodies for a 4-2 victory. And we will not have to wait long for the rematch as the two teams play tomorrow afternoon in Wilcox, Saskatchewan, over at the Notre Dame campus. And the Wildcats will be looking to snap an early season 3-game losing skid. Our SWT post-game show is next as the Hounds beat the Wildcats 4-2. This is Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV. We are back in Swift Current as the Notre Dame Hounds go to 3-0 on this season. The Hounds taking advantage of a shorthanded Wildcats team and a significant advantage in power play opportunities. We'll get the mask back on to get themselves a 4-2 victory over the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats. I'm Sean Mullen along with Jared Down. And let's quickly get to our 3 stars of the game. I think we have them. In a game where the Swift Current Wildcats had a 2-1 lead after 2. And were able to carry that into the third period. But a collection of penalties ended up costing them in that third frame. Our 3 stars. Third star here in this evening's contest with the go-ahead goal on a redirection and an assist in that third period comeback by Notre Dame is Bryn McLean. And Jared, that was a real nice deflection by McLean on the 3-2 goal on the power play as Parrott got it to the net. That's stepping up big by McLean in the third period to set up the tying goal and to come up with the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, taking advantage of a worn-down Wildcats team there, set up perfectly, and good hand-eye coordination to capitalize on the opportunity.
No question about it. Second star, and certainly the obvious pick for Swift Current. She had both their goals. Callie Arnold. Arnold now up to 4 goals in 4 games this season with the Wildcats. What Swift Current needs is some offense from other sources, as the goal scoring has been harder to come by for the Wildcats this season. And not just deeper in their lineup, their top guns have to score more, but they have to like what they've gotten out of Callie Arnold with a power play goal and an even strength marker both around the net, using her speed to generate chances too. Lots of penalty kill time, some shot blocks. It was another strong performance by Arnold today.
Yeah, as we talked in the pregame show, the Wildcats really going to need Arnold to step up, and that she did. Unfortunately, the missing bodies just caught up to them, and the penalties in the end, just too much for the Wildcats to overcome.
As for the first star, well, we talked about her before the game. She didn't really make her presence felt as much in the first 2 periods, but the third period was certainly the Ryan Parrott show. Parrott did have an assist on the lone Notre Dame goal in the first 2 periods, a really nice assist on the Thomas goal. Then she makes a great move from the corner across the front of the net to tie the game early in the third, and has an assist on the go-ahead goal by McLean as well. A goal and 2 helpers for Parrott. She's got 8 points in 3 games so far in this regular season. So Parrott, the player to watch for a undefeated Notre Dame team so far this year.
Yeah, definitely a strong performance by Parrott. I thought maybe with 9:48 there in the third period, when a nice move around the Swift Current defender, Parrott broke in, was like she's going to capitalize on a great scoring chance. A big save by the Wildcats netminder. Thought maybe that could be a turning point in the game, but too much fatigue, and the Hounds are able to finish it out.
Our post-game show is brought to you by SWT, the most trusted, innovative, and customer-centric grain and crop inputs company, by providing profit-making solutions. SWT.ca, and we thank SWT for their sponsorship of our pre- and post-game shows, and certainly based out of Gull Lake, big fans of Bailey Kerwin and Sadie Keller, a part of the roster for the Swift Current Wildcats. And Jared, we discussed before the game, being short 3 players, in particular 2 defenders, was going to be hard for the Wildcats to overcome. We discussed in the second intermission, as yes, they'd taken more penalties. They'd taken 4 to only 1 by Notre Dame. That as the game wore on, that fatigue could have a bigger impact. It certainly seemed to, as they took double the penalties they had all game added into the third period. Frustration boiled over with an additional unsportsmanlike penalty in there, and the 5-on-3 sealed it really for the Hounds. And you could just tell as the third period wore on that the Wildcats had kind of run out of gas. And between the shorthanded bodies and the penalties they had to kill off, that's just too much to ask, especially this early in the season. And Notre Dame's able to take advantage of that. All the credit to them, a talented roster. But if Swift is going to face the same situation tomorrow in Notre Dame, roster-wise, they're going to have some better jump early in the game, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. They saw what penalties could do to them in this game, and tomorrow it's going to have to be, like we talked in the pregame today, is we were worried about the amount of penalties the Current have been taking, and they got tired in that third. There's, like you said, there's four penalties in the first 8 minutes they had to kill, and they lost their Starks penalty killer in the first kill, and Notre Dame capitalized, and as fatigue wore on, it's tough for a team, like you said, shorthanded, and tomorrow on the road, quick turnaround. It'll be interesting to see how they handle the bounce back.
Well, the penalty kill is not just the effect on the D that's short. It's also the fact that your top penalty killers are your best offensive players. Kerwin, Arnold, Thompson, these types of players out there who are expected to play big minutes for you 5-on-5 and when you have a power play. So if you're killing penalties that much and they're out there aggressively attacking, that's going to drain them for when they needed that late comeback. So, there were some chances earlier in the game. The passing was just a little off the mark too for Swift. This is a talented team. There's a lot of factors in that game, and Notre Dame is a good team. They're 3-0 for a reason. Their offensive numbers are real strong. The Wildcats are going to have to be at their best tomorrow to get a win, and this is a team that's too talented to lose 4 in a row, so I'm sure they're going to come out fired up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Hopefully the Wildcats can bounce back and rely on those depth players, maybe step up tomorrow, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Our next broadcast not for 2 weeks as the league takes a break next weekend. Swift Current will host the Weyburn Gold Wings Sunday, December 6th, 4:15 puck drop here at the Innovation Credit Union Iplex. Our SWT pregame show set to get underway at 4 o'clock for that one on Amateur Sports TV. And we're all crossing our fingers that everything will continue on. We know how unpredictable everything's been with the pandemic and how tough decision-making is for everybody involved. So I'm not going to weigh in politically. I'm just going to say, as a fan of hockey, we hope to see it. We hope to see these players get a chance to play. But we know it's an unpredictable situation these days. Amateur Sports TV's got lots of hockey for you, for the fans that can't be here, the scouts that can't be here, the family that can't be here. At least with these games and any other teams interested, we're going to do our best to make sure that you can watch these young players play. And the game, if you didn't see all of it, will be archived as well on Amateur Sports TV's website. So if you're interested, get in contact with Glenn. He'll tell you more about how you can get an ASTV broadcast for your team. If you're a Wildcats or Hounds fan, you didn't see all the game or you want to have another look at it, it'll be archived on the website. And we'll have that next broadcast for you 2 weeks from tomorrow when the Wildcats host the Weyburn Gold Wings. For Jared Down and Glenn back at our studios, I'm Sean Mullen. Notre Dame storms ahead in the third period for a 4-2 win over the Wildcats. This has been Innovation Credit Union Swift Current Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV. Good night.